All right, man. How y'all doing, man? It's your boy Byron, CEO of Self-Rise Enterprise, and we are back with another video. All right, so I'm gonna get right into it. So, if you just tuning in, it's been a while since I've been back on, but I'm gonna come back to this channel with a little different vibe, a different way of looking at things. See, the last time I was recording, I was just going off pure passion and just going off what I thought would be interesting. But truth is, I want to be able to please the people that watch my channel with value. Not that my other content was value, but I just want to be able to give absolute the best meaningful work that I can. So I'm gonna be honest with you. When you going about life and you finding content online, you're trying to deal with what's valuable and what's not. A lot of times, a lot of people tune into what's entertaining rather than what's gonna help them. I mean, even if it's a spoken word of just a little inspiration, it may influence you or compel you to change your life in a direction that was, meant for you to be here. There's a reason why you're listening to this. So if you're listening to this, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and let's get right into it. One thing about it is I want to be able to make meaningful work that lasts, meaningful work that helps people that I don't know. And I think that's what my purpose is. So I'm not going to waste no more time. Let's get right into it. Number one is win the day. So what I mean by win the day is, in order to have a good year, you have to have a good day. You know what I'm saying? And let me break that down a little bit more. So a lot of times you hear, $1 million a year or $100,000 a year or 10 million, 100 million, however, whatever peak that you're setting your goals at, it all started with January 1st, January 2nd, January 3rd, January 4th, January 5th, all the way up to New Year's. And what you did within those early days of the year determined the outcome of what you got when at the end of the year when New Year's came, right? So what you did at the beginning of the year was a byproduct of what you was going to receive at the end of the year. Just like planting seeds, just like a farmer who plants seeds, if he decides that he got too much money and he wants to skip a season, then he's going to have a naked field with nothing growing, and he's going to lose profit. You know what I'm saying? So it's no different with our lives. What I'm trying to say is, in order to win the day, we have to be able to put the pride aside and move towards a more focused approach. And when we going about our shit, and what I'm gonna give more an example. So for instance, right, I say time management is everything, right? So when you going about having $1 million year, right, and you want to, because I've never made $1 million, but I've studied enough millionaires to know the routines and the habits and what they do to psychology, right? It's not just I'm gonna come to work on a Monday and I'm gonna skip Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. No, it's every hour is dedicated towards something valuable, something important, right? And I feel that if we can use our time wisely, we can get the most out of time. Sometimes I fall victim. I can't come on the camera in front like everything is perfect. Sometimes I fall victim to procrastination, to overthinking, overanalyzing, right? A lot of times people come on camera and they portray like they got it figured out because they read 1 or 2 books. I'm learning every day. I'm a student of life. You know what I'm saying? And I feel that life is one big opinion. So what matters is what works. Whatever failed is cool because it don't count for nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I want to talk about the shortness of life and how Seneca talked about how we spend our time trying to please other people and how we're always trying to get money. We're always trying to make sure our business in order, that we never spend time with our kids. We never spend time working on our health. So then we get money in our 50s, 60s, or whatever, how old, and then we spend all that money giving it back to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? Or trying to get our health back with money that we've obtained, but we lost it because we was losers.
Covered plenty of players who didn't seem like they figured the ego part out until their 30s. I mean, who taught you about why that's important and to handle it that way?
I think I'll say life. Usually, I'm gonna tell you this. Usually, when from my experience, right? Like when I think about like, oh yeah, I did this. I'm so great. I had 30. I had 25, 10, and 10, or whatever the case might be. Because you're gonna think about that. Oh, we won this and that. Usually, the next day you're gonna suck.
Right.
You know, simple as that. You like the next few days you're gonna be terrible. And I figured out like a mindset to have that like when you focus on the past, that's your ego. I did this. We were able to, beat this team 4-0. We did. I did this in the past. I won that in the past.
Right.
And when I focus in the future, is my pride. Like, yeah, next game 5, I do this and this and this.
Right.
I'm going dominant. That's your pride talking. Like it doesn't happen. Like you're right here, and I kind of like try to focus in the in the moment, in the present, and that's humility. That's being humble. That's not setting no expectation. That's going out there enjoying the game, competing at a high level. And I think I've had people throughout my life that helped me with that. But that's a skill that I've tried to like kind of how you say, kind of like perfect it.
Master.
Yeah, master it, and it's been working so far.
Because you can't take none of that shit to the grave with you. So technically, did you win? You know what I'm saying? Did you win at life? Did you win at life because you attained materialistic goals that you set out to get? Some people say yes, some people say no, but the real goal is being able to have optimal health, being able to have a sharp mind. You know what I'm saying? Al Capone had it all, but when he lost his mind, you know what I'm saying, he was no good to anyone. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean, man. Just being able to take advantage of your time and being able to know right from wrong and being able to know what's important and what's not. So then we go off into number 2, which is do for self, right? And this means being a student of self, right? Being a student of your history, your culture, your God. For instance, when I was coming up, my grandmother went to a Christian church, right? A lot of times people who went to the church, they were, they were very like holy, you know what I'm saying? But the same people that were at the church, they were at the club the night before. You know what I'm saying? Like throwing back Hennessy shots, you feel me, smoking blunts, living life, but then when it was time to come into this place, this real estate that was built from man, then it's like, oh, boom, I'm healed. I know my purpose. I know, and I always thought it was bullshit, So what am I getting with that? I'm basically saying like, go back to Africa. If you're African, everything's from Africa. If everything comes from black, you feel me? So even white comes from black. To really understand your history, you got to go to the absolute root. You can't just go through all these, I'm just going to call it for what it is. You can't go through all these man-made religions. You got to go through the root. Once you start to learn your history and get more sharper, because I'm still learning myself, and then like I got to figure it out, getting more sharper with your game, then you can go ahead and excel as a human. And then when you excel within yourself, then you can help other people. But if you don't know yourself, you can't go out and go help nobody because you're still drowning within yourself. Malcolm X started off light-skinned. His mom treated him a little bit different because of, you got to read the book. His mom treated him a little different because he didn't really have darker skin like the rest of his brothers and siblings, right? But his father treated him a lot more better because he had lighter skin. So this is the 1920s and 30s, right? So this is the psychology that he had to go through. And so he always thought that pleasing white people was the way until he realized that that's not the way. Then he thought that, fitting in with black people was the way. Then he realized black people was lost and confused than anybody else, any other race. So then he went to prison and had to reform himself and literally had to go back and get the culture, had to get the God right. Understanding of different cultures, understanding his culture, understanding America, understanding the white man, understanding it from a level from since a little boy being in foster care. You know what I'm saying? With a white woman that was racist. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up racist in his face, call a nigga to his face and everything else. So we have to go through this self-metamorphosis to really be the best potential, to be the best for the world. It's really looking yourself in the mirror like MJ said. You feel me?
The desegregation decisions and other type of legislation and Supreme Court decisions depends upon changing the white man's mind. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that our own mind has to be changed. We have to change our mind about ourselves.
In what way?
Well, so he teaches us the importance of moral reformation, a knowledge of self. And for instance, the average so-called Negro, he doesn't think that he can go into business and provide jobs for himself. And because of this, he thinks that he can only get a job from the white man, or he can only get clothes from the white man, or he can only get food from the white man. And we who follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad are taught that the same thing that the white man has done for himself and his kind, if our people could if we could be cured of our slave mentality that was indoctrinated into us during slavery, we would realize that just as the white man can do these things for himself and his kind, we can get together in unity and harmony and do the same thing for ourselves and our kind.
Number 3, I put as the golden rule, and that was control prison within. Right, and the prison within is like me saying this. Right, number 3 is me saying this. Right, if you are controlling the prison within, then you are maintaining the prisoner and the warden. Right, so you are the prisoner and the warden. Right, you have to dictate how your prison gonna function. Right, and I call it a prison until you change the name. And like a lot of times we're brought up in poverty. So we're locked out a lot of thinking because our perception is screwed up. So that's why I say a prison. Once you mentally break out your prison and you can go venture off into other real estate that you ain't tapped into, that's when you can start to tap into, self-mastery like the Buddha did when he left his palace and he found enlightenment at 35 years old under a specific tree. I can't think of the particular name. But he found enlightenment at 35. He left everything he had. He left all materialistics. And he was being himself. He was following his true tuition. And that's what we got to be. We got to be like Buddha. We got to be like that, like human form. Now he's a god. Now he's looked at as a god, but he walked like me and you. He talked like me and you. His blood rushed like me and you. So right now we're going to go off into number 4. And this is master, mind, and the body. Basically, I put that down because if you don't have your mind and your body, you really lost. You know what I'm saying? You really lost in the sauce. So I feel like you got to be able to get past certain doubts and get past certain trials and tribulations that are on the path towards your greatness and your potential. And you have to have the energy. You have to be able to think your way through things. You have to be able to have the energy to do it. So in order to have the energy, you have to work out. You have to get your muscles strong. You have to be able to jump high cliffs. You have to be able to climb the cliffs and then jump. And then you got to take risks to get to the top. You feel me? So in order to do this, you have to be durable. You have to be, you feel me? I understood what Nip Hussle meant when he talked about the marathon. Okay, just because, we hit a W, we're not gonna celebrate, you know what I'm saying? Because we got a long way to go. This shit don't stop. And I feel that it all goes back to having the right mind. In order to change the world, we have to change ourselves. It's not about impressing people or trying to convince people your worth. Once you can become your biggest fan, then that's when the worth is seen, because now you illuminate without even saying 2 words. So you illuminate the rooms and you illuminate off energy. You illuminate how you think, because no one else in the world is gonna say it and do it like you do it if it's original, right? But I feel like in order to be that type of human, in order to be that type of person that's magnifying, it starts with being your true self, right? And that's knowing your mind and your body, being a master of those 2 functions at its highest potential. And again, it's harder to say, it's easier to say than to do. This is an everyday grind, you know what I'm saying? I'll give you an example. I played football since I was 6, 7 years old, and I haven't stopped playing football up until I was 19. I was able to learn from certain things to where now looking back at it, I realized that I'm not really in a rush to stick my son into something like that. You feel me? A lot of people may disagree, but I play running back. I've hit my head on the ground so many times through the past decade that, I mean, you know what I'm saying, it's really affected a lot of my life. And I feel that if I were to put my brain and my mind to something else, you feel me, I would be a lot further in time since starting as a child. So it's just like, I know too much now. I know too much to stick my son into that. But I'm just saying we have to protect that. I'd rather stick him into arts, music, you know what I'm saying, literature, understanding writing, understanding reading, understanding economics and empowerment, reforming. All these things that I didn't have. That way my grandkids are greater than my son. And that's the goal, man. We want to be able to build off legacies from instilling vital lessons. Let's go off into number 5, right? Number 5 is fill a gap in life. So there was an interview that Tupac did, and he said that I'm not gonna change the world, but I'm gonna spark the brain that will change the world.
It's hell when you can't be around your peers. All my life I grew up around black people, poor people, but I can't live around poor people now because they'll rob me. And why would they rob me? Because they're starving, because there's no money here. But they're telling me, now that I made a little money, I have to move here. So it's not like no one's ever trying to deal with this section. They're just moving away from it. And we're gonna have more stars coming from the ghetto, but they're gonna all move this way. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all the society is doing is leeching off the ghetto. They use the ghetto for their pain, for their sorrow, for their culture, for their music, for their happiness, for their movies, to talk about boys in the hood. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be I don't want to be 50 years old at a BET We Shall Overcome Achievement Awards. You know what I'm saying? Not me. You know, I want when they see me, they know that every day when I'm breathing, it's for us to go farther. You know, every time I speak, I want the truth to come out. You know what I'm saying? Every time I speak, I want to shiver. You know, I don't want them to be like, they know what I'm going to say because it's polite. They know what I'm going to say. And even if I get in trouble, you know what I'm saying? Ain't that what we're supposed to do? I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us. We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change it. I don't know how to change it, but I know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody's going to clean it up.
Right? And this is what I get at. This is what Surfrise Enterprise is about. When you watch my channel, this is what we get at. We don't plan to change the world, we plan to spark the brain. And how do we plan to do that? It starts with you. It starts with the person watching this video right now. You know what I'm saying? You are responsible for your purpose in life. Like, you gotta go out and find what's meaningful to you and then execute at the highest level. One thing that I can tell you is one thing that we push that I learned from Master P and that we're putting together now as a team is product outweighs talent, right? And so invest in products that you already use. You know, do things that you already like. Invest in things that you already like to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, you know, I got a book coming, right? And my goal, my sole goal isn't to sell it and make money. My goal is to give game, to give rules that I've learned that took hours, and you know what I'm saying? Like, my goal is to help people empower themselves and build a legacy through the history that's already been taught. Hours upon hours and years that have been put into this subject of just reading and reading and reading. Over 2,000, 3,000 years worth of history and game and strategy into this book, right? And so I feel that doing meaningful work is going to pay off in dividends for my life, and I want to be able to push that on young hustlers to go push their passions and do what they got to do. And listen, I don't have the blueprint. I don't have, you know what I'm saying, no magic trick like everybody's pushing. My sole goal is to give game, give purposeful words, and to hopefully get in a position one day where I'm able to help thousands of young hustlers, you know what I'm saying, and really be you know what I'm saying, in a position to put them in skill sets that are attainable, that are not like, you feel me, like everybody ain't got to be a roofer. Not there's nothing wrong with being a roofer, nothing wrong with being a worker. We need those people. Those are essential workers, you know what I'm saying? But I feel that, you know what I'm saying, for black people, we just need more like poets. We need more authors. We need more international speakers. You know what I'm saying? We need more revolutionaries. You feel me? Like nowadays, we have the internet. Imagine if the Black Panthers had the internet back in the days, right? And they didn't need these big platforms to be heard. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if Wall Street had phones. Black Wall Street had cell phones, and they were able to record what was going on back then. They were able to report their own news. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, we've been here for so long, but we still don't have nothing, because we go from high school directly to prison, or we go from high school directly to, you know what I'm saying, an essential job that doesn't pay off in the near future. We just keep it until we get fired, or until we get, you know what I'm saying, a better opportunity somewhere else that pays a few more cents. What I'm trying to say is that we could do better as a people, because a lot of times we have nothing, right? So if my grandfather left me land and all I knew was woodworking, I would cut a tree down and build a chair and sell them. You know what I'm saying? So my point of saying that is, whatever you have around you, whatever God blessed you with, whatever, you know what I'm saying, you have within your possession, work with what you have, you know what I'm saying, and try to be the best at what you do. If you do that, I believe that you can immortalize yourself like that. And I speak on that in my upcoming book, man. I'm not going to speak on it too much. I'm not even going to give a title. But just know I got some works coming. If you're interested in my works, man, in my progress, and my road to buy 1,000 acres of land. That's my goal. I want to buy 1,000 acres of land. You know what I'm saying? And I want to spread it all around the U.S. And my goal is to build. My goal is to manifest my own. Everything comes from soil. You know what I'm saying? So that's my goal, man. I want y'all to follow me. That's my goal. That's what Self-Rise Enterprise is about, man. We finna buy land. You know what I'm saying? We finna buy gold. We finna write books, right? We finna build value, right? We're finna be on the road to self-mastery. And when I say self-mastery, I'm not saying I got the key. But I'm saying there's lessons in history. There's lessons in books. There's lessons from dead people that are no longer here that's going to give us the keys and the vital lessons that's going to get us to where we need to go, and that's at the peak of the mountain. If you like this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.